The air in the digital gaming sphere feels different this morning, heavy with the kind of anticipation that only arrives when Sony prepares to pull back the curtain on its latest offering, as we stand in the early days of April 2026, a year that has already seen its fair share of industry volatility. Every subscriber is asking the same high-stakes question. Did Sony just deliver the best month of 2026? Or is there a hidden catch we aren't seeing yet? The official announcement for the PlayStation Plus Essential lineup has finally arrived, and the weight of this reveal cannot be understated. For months, the community has been vocal about the perceived stagnation of the service, demanding a return to form that justifies the ongoing investment of every value-conscious global gamer. Now, the names are out, and they carry a significant amount of weight in the current market, sparking immediate debate across every corner of the internet. The sheer variety of these titles suggests that PlayStation is looking to secure its ecosystem before a major seasonal transition occurs. The headliner for this month is undoubtedly Lords of the Fallen, a title that has undergone a massive transformation. Accompanying it is the nostalgia-fueled Tomb Raider Remastered, designed to bridge the gap between longtime fans of Lara Croft and a new generation of explorers. Rounding out the trio is Sword Art Online, the niche factor that always sparks a fierce debate between those who love the franchise and those who view it as filler. Together, these three games represent a diverse spread, but the devil is often found in the details. These titles go live on the first Tuesday of the month, April 7th. This means the window is rapidly closing for the current March titles. If you haven't added those previous games to your library yet, the clock is ticking, and once they vanish from the Essential tier, that value is gone forever. Immediate excitement on social media was palpable once the blog post went live. On platforms like Reddit, the initial reaction was a surge of positivity. It's rare to see a lineup that covers high-stakes dark fantasy and anime-inspired RPG mechanics at once. However, beneath that enthusiasm, skepticism is forming among long-term subscribers. There is a sense that Sony is focusing heavily on hardcore RPGs and remasters to pad out the second quarter. While these titles look massive, seasoned players are looking for the catch. Specifically, there is a curiosity regarding the version of Sword Art Online being offered. Early reports suggest a specific detail about this version that could change how the community perceives its value. Is it the complete experience, or a base version meant to drive DLC sales? This uncertainty creates a tension that defines the relationship between the subscriber and the corporate entity. Before we continue this deep dive into the April 2026 lineup, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. This conversation is global, and hearing your perspective helps us understand the true impact of Sony's decisions on players across different regions. As we analyze the current landscape, the rivalry between PS Plus and Game Pass has never been more intense. This April lineup is a strategic move to maintain dominance as the subscribers become more conscious of their total return on investment than ever before. The inclusion of Lords of the Fallen is telling. It serves as the crown jewel, offering the Axiom and Umbral dual world exploration that appeals directly to the hardcore Souls-like community. Meanwhile, Tomb Raider Remastered acts as the bridge, ensuring those who find the dark atmosphere of the headliner daunting still have a high-quality, recognizable title to download. Yet the question remains, is this a genuine reward for loyal fans, or a calculated response to a weak March? Trophy hunters are already scanning the list for platinum-friendly requirements, while others question if these games represent the true essential experience. As we peel back the layers, it becomes clear that April 2026 is a turning point for the service, setting the stage for a controversial mid-year for PlayStation. With rumors of a massive mid-year showcase on the horizon, this specific lineup might be the last moment of calm before a major shift in the subscription landscape takes place later this summer. Every choice Sony makes now will resonate for months to come. The landscape of PlayStation Plus leading into April 2026 hasn't been a smooth ride. Since late 2025, Sony has faced a recurring critique. The Essential tier often felt like a dumping ground for titles that failed to move units elsewhere. While the Extra and Premium tiers flourished with deep catalogs and trials, the monthly Essential drops were notably inconsistent. Looking back at the last 6 months, we saw a heavy emphasis on indie experimentalism and smaller multiplayer titles that struggled to maintain a player base. This created a sense of fatigue across the global gaming community. Subscribers began to feel that the return on investment was dwindling as the digital economy shifted toward more consolidated service models. This context is vital because it explains why the April reveal felt like such a sudden jolt. Sony needed a significant win to stabilize the narrative before the summer heat began. can. We cannot discuss the state of PlayStation Plus without acknowledging the competition from Game Pass. In April 2026, this rivalry is particularly fierce. Microsoft's service has been leaning into day-and-date releases for mid-budget shooters and high-profile tactical strategy games. For the value-conscious global gamer, the comparison is inevitable. While Game Pass focuses on breadth and variety, Sony appears to be doubling down on a more curated, high-impact approach for its essential tier. By offering a heavy hitter like Lords of the Fallen alongside a beloved legacy franchise like Tomb Raider, Sony is attempting to provide a depth of experience that matches the sheer volume of its rival. It is a battle of philosophies. The buffet style of Microsoft versus the prestige course style of Sony. This month, however, the lines are blurring, as the quality of the PS Plus selection feels significantly higher than the previous quarter. There is a clear, calculated reason why Sony is pivoting toward hardcore RPGs and classic remasters in this specific window. As we enter the second quarter of 2026, the company is strategically placing these genres to prime the audience for what is coming next. Hardcore RPGs, specifically the Souls-like subgenre, have become a cornerstone of the PlayStation identity. By offering Lords of the Fallen, Sony isn't just giving away a game, they are training their audience. They are fostering a community comfortable with high difficulty and complex mechanics, likely preparing for a major first-party RPG announcement or sequel later in the year. Similarly, the focus on classic remasters like Tomb Raider serves a dual purpose. It satisfies the nostalgia of the veteran player while introducing younger audiences to the foundations of the action-adventure genre, effectively broadening the market for future iterations of the series. This strategy is deeply tied to the rising costs of subscriptions that have plagued the early half of 2026. With rumors of another potential price hike for the Essential tier looming, the perceived value of these monthly games has become a primary battleground. Subscribers are no longer content with filler titles. They demand games that have a high MSRP and substantial gameplay hours. Sony knows that the social media heat from a bad month can do long-term damage to the brand's reputation. Therefore, selecting titles with deep progression systems and high replayability is a way to mitigate the sting of rising fees. The goal is to make the subscriber feel like they are getting a bargain, even if the total cost of being in the ecosystem is slowly climbing. If we look closely, a hidden pattern emerges. These specific genres, dark fantasy RPGs and classic adventures, often precede the launch of major sequels or DLC expansions. By analyzing the 2026 release schedule, it becomes apparent that Sony is using the Essential tier as a marketing tool. They are creating a flywheel effect, use the subscription service to get a game into millions of hands, build the hype, and then sell the next big thing in that same ecosystem. It is a sophisticated evolution of the traditional demo, one that rewards current users while securing future revenue. This pattern explains why these specific genres were chosen for the April window, linking directly to upcoming 2026 sequels. This leads us to a moment of reflection. Does this lineup truly feel like a celebration of the community? Or does it feel like a makeup month for a weak March? The previous month was widely panned for its lack of cohesion and perceived low value, leaving many to wonder if the Essential tier was being phased out in favor of higher tiers. Now, suddenly, we have three massive pillars of gaming content dropped at once. It feels like a tactical apology, a move designed to quiet the dissenters and reset expectations. The tension between the subscriber and Sony remains, but for now, the quality of the games is doing the talking. As we move deeper into the technicalities of these titles, we must ask if this sudden surge in value is sustainable or merely a temporary distraction. Lords of the Fallen stands as the indisputable crown jewel of this April selection, carrying the heavy burden of justifying the subscription cost for millions of users worldwide. To understand why this inclusion is so significant for the PlayStation Plus Essential tier, one must look back at the game's arduous journey since its original release. It is no secret that the title faced a rocky launch characterized by performance stutters and balancing issues that polarized the Souls-like community. However, the version arriving on the service today is not the same game that critics scrutinized years ago. It is the 2026 Definitive Edition. This iteration represents a meticulously patched, polished, and optimized experience that finally realizes the developer's original vision on the PlayStation 5 hardware. For the value-conscious global gamer, this is the version that matters. A high-fidelity journey through a decaying world that finally runs at a locked 60 frames per second with enhanced global illumination and refined haptic feedback integration. The core appeal of this headliner lies in its unique dual-world mechanic, a feature that sets it apart from other entries in the hardcore RPG genre. Players are tasked with navigating the land of the living, known as Axiom, while being constantly shadowed by the nightmare realm of Umbral. This parallel dimension is not merely a visual filter, but a fully realized second world layered directly beneath the first. When a player falls in Axiom, they are given one final chance to survive by transitioning into the Umbral realm, where the environment shifts, new paths reveal themselves, and much more aggressive enemies emerge from the shadows. The tension of managing these two overlapping realities provides a layer of environmental puzzle solving and tactical risk that feels fresh, even for those who have spent hundreds of hours in games like Elden Ring. Sony's decision to highlight this specific title suggests a calculated effort to capture the attention of players who crave mechanical depth and a dark, oppressive atmosphere. There is a specific curiosity trigger that has begun to circulate within the subscriber base regarding the exact nature of this April drop. While the storefront lists the title clearly, most players do not realize that the PlayStation Plus version may or may not include a specific set of post-launch DLC content that was integrated into the 2026 retail builds. This creates a moment of friction for the user. Is this the complete experience? Or is it a strategic gateway designed to encourage further purchases? There are whispers of a licensed technicality where certain regions are seeing the inclusion of the ancient weapon packs and expanded boss gauntlets, while others appear to have the standard base license. This ambiguity adds to the off feeling mentioned previously, as the perceived ROI for the month hinges heavily on whether subscribers are getting the truly ultimate version of this dark fantasy epic or a truncated edition. From a gameplay perspective, this title serves the hardcore segment of the subscriber base with uncompromising precision. The difficulty curve is steep, and the world design is intentionally labyrinthine, rewarding those who take the time to master its visceral combat systems. The Soul Flay mechanic, which allows players to interact with an enemy's spirit, adds a level of control and strategy that elevates the moment-to-moment encounters beyond simple hack-and-slash tropes. For the trophy hunters, the stakes are equally high. The Platinum Trophy list for this 2026 version is notorious for its complexity, requiring multiple playthroughs and the discovery of every hidden secret within the Umbral depths. This ensures that the game will remain in the active rotation of many consoles for months to come, providing the kind of long-term engagement that Sony desperately needs to maintain the relevance of the essential tier. As players descend into the suffocating environments of the Defiled Sepulchre or the frozen wastes of the game's later stages, the impact of the dark atmosphere becomes undeniable. The sound design is particularly haunting, utilizing the 3D audio capabilities of the console to place every guttural growl and shifting shadow directly in the player's headset. This isn't just a game. It is an endurance test, a monolithic challenge that demands total focus. By making such a demanding title the centerpiece of the April lineup, Sony is signaling a shift away from the lighter, more accessible fare of previous months. They are betting on the grit and determination of their audience, providing a high-stakes experience that contrasts sharply with the other titles in the bundle. This strategic move places the hardcore RPG fan at the center of the conversation, effectively bridging the gap between the niche enthusiast and the general subscriber looking for substantial value. As the community begins to grapple with the unforgiving world of Axiom, the focus inevitably shifts toward the other offerings that round out this multifaceted month, ensuring that every type of player has a reason to stay invested in the ecosystem. While the shadows of the Umbral realm dominate the initial conversation, the April 2026 lineup balances its dark intensity with a significant dose of historical reverence and specialized genre appeal. The second major pillar of this month's offering is Tomb Raider Remastered, a title that serves as a vital bridge between the foundational era of the 32-bit generation and the high-fidelity demands of the current market. For the modern PlayStation Plus subscriber, this isn't just a trip down memory lane, it is an exploration of architectural game design that shaped the industry. Sony's strategy here targets the nostalgia-driven classic remaster audience while offering enough technical refinement to satisfy those who never experienced Lara Croft's origins. This 2026 version is not a mere resolution bump. It includes an exclusive legacy mode that utilizes the PS5 ray tracing capabilities to recreate the original atmospheric lighting of the 90s environments with modern precision. The textures have been upscaled using AI-driven interpolation that respects the original artistic intent, avoiding the smeared look often associated with lazy ports. For the first time, players can toggle between the classic tank controls and a modernized 360-degree movement system that feels more aligned with current standards. This flexibility is a key factor in the game's high ROI, as it invites both purists and newcomers to engage with the content on their own terms. Transitioning from the tombs of Peru to the digital landscapes of Aincrad, the inclusion of Sword Art Online brings the niche factor into focus. This is where the April lineup begins to see its first major point of internal conflict. For a segment of the global gaming community, Sword Art Online represents a massive dedicated franchise with hundreds of hours of potential gameplay and deep mechanical customization. However, for the generalist subscriber, these titles are often viewed with skepticism, frequently dismissed as filler content intended to inflate the month's total value without providing universal appeal. This polarizing reception is a recurring theme in Sony's second quarter strategy. By including a high-profile anime license, the corporate entity is attempting to secure the loyalty of the JRPG and anime-adjacent demographics, even if it risks alienating those who prefer Western-style realism. The friction regarding Sword Art Online often stems from the perceived repetitiveness of its loop and the density of its systems, which can feel impenetrable to those not already familiar with the source material. Yet for those who dive in, the reward is a sprawling epic that emphasizes social bonds and complex combat rotations. This version included in the April drop is specifically the 2026 Integral Edition, which bundles several performance optimizations that were previously absent from the initial launch. It addresses many of the criticisms regarding late-game grind, making it a more viable option for a casual playthrough during a busy month. For the trophy hunters, both Tomb Raider Remastered and Sword Art Online offer compelling, albeit vastly different challenges. The Tomb Raider list is a masterclass in collectible hunting and speedrunning, requiring a deep knowledge of the game's level geometry to secure the elusive Platinum Trophy. In contrast, the Sword Art Online list is a test of sheer endurance, often requiring over 100 hours of dedicated play to clear the final requirements. This variety ensures that the trophy hunter community has a clear path to follow, regardless of which genre they prefer. The presence of these platinum-friendly lists serves as a silent motivator for retention, keeping players within the PlayStation digital ecosystem far beyond the initial download phase. This leaves the average subscriber at a crossroads. While Lords of the Fallen may be the headliner that draws the eye, the true longevity of the April 2026 lineup might actually reside in these two supporting titles. One offers a refined look at gaming's ancestry, while the other provides a deep dive into a specialized digital fantasy. The community is already beginning to debate which of these two secondary titles truly deserves the first install. Is the lure of classic exploration and technical nostalgia stronger than the appeal of a massive anime RPG? As the social media heat continues to build, the divide between the nostalgia seekers and the niche enthusiasts becomes more pronounced throughout April. Calculating the raw financial impact of the April 2026 lineup reveals a striking return on investment for the value-conscious subscriber. When examining the manufacturer's suggested retail price of these three titles, the total valuation climbs well above the $150 mark for everyone. Lords of the Fallen, though seasoned, maintains a premium price tag due to its definitive status, while the Tomb Raider Remastered Collection and the Sword Art Online Integral Edition contribute significant weight to the total bundle. For a monthly subscription that costs a mere fraction of this total, the ROI is massive. This creates a powerful narrative, letting Sony claim that a single month of the Essential tier effectively pays for an entire year of the service. However, the PlayStation Plus subscriber of 2026 is far more sophisticated than previous generations. They understand that a high price point does not always equate to personal value. The conversation across digital forums is not just about the dollars actually saved, but about the time investment required to master these digital experiences. On platforms like Reddit and various PlayStation community forums, the heat is palpable, manifesting in a sharp divide between different player archetypes. One side of the discourse celebrates the arrival of Lords of the Fallen as a triumph for high fidelity, challenging gameplay, praising Sony for not shying away from demanding hardcore content in an age of accessibility. Conversely, a vocal minority expresses frustration, labeling the month as unapproachable due to the high difficulty of the headliner and the niche, grind-heavy nature of the anime-inspired Sword Art Online. This particular divide is exactly what keeps the social media algorithms churning, providing Sony massive free marketing throughout the month. The tension is further fueled by the constant comparison to Game Pass, which recently added its own set of high-profile RPGs, forcing subscribers to choose where to spend their limited gaming hours and digital storage space. This specific lineup carries heavy consequences for the long-term reputation of the Essential tier. For much of late 2025, there was a growing community sentiment that the base level of the service was being intentionally neglected in favor of the more expensive extra and premium tiers. By dropping 3 heavy hitters simultaneously in April, Sony is attempting to course correct and prove that the foundational subscription remains a viable product for the global gaming market. Yet this move also creates a strange internal competition within the ecosystem. If the Essential tier provides this much perceived value, does it accidentally cannibalize the incentive for users to upgrade to higher tiers? It is a delicate, high-stakes balancing act for the corporate decision makers who must justify the existence of higher price points while keeping the entry-level audience from drifting away toward competitors. As the games finally went live across different time zones, a significant controversy began to bubble to the surface, threatening to overshadow the generally positive reception. Reports of a technical glitch regarding the Lords of the Fallen license started appearing in certain European and major Asian regions almost immediately. Some subscribers claimed that they were unable to add the game to their permanent library, while others noted that the store page was erroneously asking for a full-price purchase despite their active subscription status. This localized friction has sparked rumors of a deeper licensing conflict or a regional distribution error, casting a shadow over what should have been a celebratory launch. The technical hiccup serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of the modern digital ecosystem, where access to content is entirely dependent on the stability of Sony back-end servers and invisible corporate licensing agreements. This brings us back to the off feeling mentioned at the start of the month, the specific detail that changes the context of the entire April lineup. While the headlines screamed that Lords of the Fallen and Sword Art Online were the undeniable stars, a closer inspection of the specific game versions revealed a startling truth. The version of Lords of the Fallen provided is not the standard edition, nor is it the basic definitive build. It is a custom PlayStation Plus anniversary build that includes a set of exclusive legacy armor and weapons, but with a catch that many overlooked for now. The revelation of the custom PlayStation Plus anniversary build for Lords of the Fallen has sent ripples through the community, but the implications extend far beyond a few exclusive items. This move signals a significant shift in how Sony plans to handle its spring and summer calendar for 2026. When a platform holder starts offering custom curated versions of major third-party titles, it usually points toward a larger strategic roadmap. Industry analysts and the PlayStation Plus subscriber are already looking toward the horizon, speculating on what the May and June lineups might hold. If April is the month of redemption for hardcore RPGs and technical nostalgia, then the following months are poised to be the foundation for Sony's mid-year dominance. The pattern suggests that Sony is front-loading the second quarter with high-value third-party content to clear the runway for a massive first-party explosion during the summer months. This leads directly into the swirling vortex of rumors currently dominating Reddit and various social media platforms. Unverified but persistent leaks from reputable insiders suggest that Sony is preparing a massive first-party title to headline the service by June. Whispers of a recent blockbuster, perhaps a title that defined the early PS5 era, making its debut on the Essential tier, have reached a fever pitch. While Sony remains tight-lipped, the community's collective voice is already debating whether we might see a major expansion or a director's cut of a flagship franchise. These leaks carry weight because they align with the current trend of shortening the window between a game's retail launch and its arrival on subscription services. In the landscape of 2026, the old rules of waiting 3 or 4 years for a premium title to hit the free monthly rotation have been completely rewritten. The 2026 gaming landscape is forcing Sony to include newer titles faster than they ever did in 2024 or 2025. This industry shift is driven by a necessity to maintain subscriber numbers in the face of aggressive competition. As other services offer day-and-date releases for major mid-tier titles, PlayStation Plus must adapt by providing recent OI experiences that still hold significant market value. This pressure is the primary reason we see a game like Lords of the Fallen, which still commands a high price in digital stores, appearing on the Essential tier. Sony is no longer just providing extra value. They are fighting for the player's time equity. Every hour spent in the dual worlds of the Umbral Realm or exploring the remastered ruins with Lara Croft is an hour spent within the Sony ecosystem rather than on a rival platform. For the value-conscious PlayStation Plus subscriber, the next steps are clear but require a tactical approach. While the excitement of the April launch is high, the immediate priority should be the claiming process. In the digital age, claiming these titles to your permanent library is far more important than the immediate download. With the rumored technical glitches regarding licenses in certain regions, securing your ownership of the anniversary build of Lords of the Fallen should be the first action taken. Furthermore, the storage requirements for these 3 titles combined are substantial. Subscribers are currently navigating the digital closet of their SSDs, deciding which older games must be deleted to make room for this month's massive file sizes. It is a ritual of the modern era, managing gigabytes to ensure the latest free experiences are ready to play at a moment's notice. As we stand on the precipice of the mid-year showcase, the suspense continues to build. If April is this big, offering a blend of hardcore challenge, nostalgic perfection, and niche role-playing depth, one has to wonder what Sony is saving for the grand reveal in the coming months. The community remains divided between those who are satisfied with the current bounty and those who see April as a mere appetizer for a larger feast. The tension between the rising cost of the service and the perceived value of these monthly drops is reaching a critical junction. Every decision Sony makes in the next few weeks will be scrutinized by the trophy hunters, the hardcore fans, and the skeptical casual players alike. The narrative of 2026 is being written, and while April has set a high bar, the true test is approaching now. The ultimate verdict for April 2026 rests not just on the quality of the individual titles, but on how they collectively redefine the value of the PlayStation Plus Essential tier during a period of intense industry transition. After the dust of the initial reveal has settled and the regional licensing ripples have been addressed, the PlayStation Plus subscriber is left to weigh the true return on investment for this specific month. It is a lineup that successfully balances high-energy challenges with a controlled sense of nostalgia, creating a curated journey that caters to the diverse psychological needs of the modern gaming community. Sony has moved beyond the simple act of providing games. They are now managing the emotional landscape of their audience by offering a mix of redemption, discovery, and comfort. When we break down the final decision for each title, the headliner demands the most immediate attention. Lords of the Fallen is an absolute must-claim and a definitive play for anyone who identifies as a hardcore RPG fan or even a casual enthusiast of the genre. The inclusion of the custom anniversary build with its exclusive legacy gear transforms this from a mere back catalog edition into a unique event for the community. It represents a redemption arc for a title that fought its way through technical adversity to finally achieve its vision on the PS5 hardware. If you have been waiting for a reason to test your mettle in the dual worlds of the Umbral Realm, there is no better time than now. The value here is undeniable, effectively paying for months of membership in a single download. Moving to Tomb Raider Remastered, the verdict shifts toward a play for those who value the preservation of gaming history and the satisfaction of a clean, methodical experience. For the trophy hunters, this is the crown jewel of the month, offering a transparent and rewarding path toward a platinum that feels earned rather than given. It serves as the perfect structural counterpoint to the dark, chaotic intensity of the month's headliner. While it might not be the game you spend 50 hours exploring, it provides a sense of nostalgic perfection that is increasingly rare in an era of sprawling, often unfinished live service titles. It is a reminder that Lara Croft's original adventures were built on a foundation of precision and atmosphere that still holds up under the scrutiny of 2026 technology. Then we must address the specific niche of Sword Art Online. For the broader subscriber base, this title occupies the skip or claim for later category. It is a game that knows its audience and serves them well, but it lacks the universal gravitational pull required to compete with the other two giants for the player's limited time equity. However, its presence in the lineup is a tactical win for Sony, ensuring that fans of Japanese role-playing games feel seen and valued. It rounds out the month by providing a colorful, character-driven alternative to the grim landscapes and dusty ruins of its counterparts. Even if it remains in your digital library as a curiosity for a rainy day, its inclusion adds a layer of variety that prevents the month month from feeling one-dimensional. As the PlayStation Plus subscriber navigates these choices, a significant parting thought must be considered. This April 2026 lineup arrives amidst persistent rumors of a looming price hike for the subscription service later this year. In many ways, this month feels like a grand finale for the current pricing structure, a final show of force intended to remind players of the immense value provided by the Essential tier before the costs of entry are potentially adjusted. If these rumors hold true, the current month may be remembered as the last great bargain of the mid-2020s. Securing these titles now is not just about entertainment today. It is a tactical move to build a robust library before the barriers to entry grow higher. In the final analysis, Sony has delivered a month that is both energetic and calculated. They have addressed the skepticism of the community with a high-value drop that balances technical mastery with cultural nostalgia. As you prepare to reclaim your SSD space and begin the claiming process, the decision is yours to make. Will you dive into the punishing depths of the Umbral Realm, or find solace in the classic tomb raiding missions of the 90s? Perhaps you will find a new obsession in the virtual worlds of Sword Art Online. Whatever your choice, the April 2026 lineup has proven that the spirit of the service remains strong, even as the landscape around it shifts. Share your first download choice in the comments, and let the community know if Sony has won your loyalty for another season. The journey through 2026 is far from over, and the next chapter is already being written. Stay sharp, stay subscribed, and keep your trophies close.